By the time I was a freshman in high school, I was playing 6 different brass instruments. I started with the bugle, playing in the drum and bugle corps, marching in the Bud Billiken Parade when I was about 11, 12. And I went from there to play mellophone, which is like the French horn but with trumpet-like valves. Later on, I progressed to the cornet, the baritone horn, the valve trombone, and in high school, I started on slide trombone and was also called upon to play sousaphone on occasion when the player would be out.
This is the way I would sound if I were playing the horn today. So I won't bore you with that.
And so my band director at high school, Mr. George Hunter, he stressed that all instrumentalists interested in playing jazz to study piano theory, to play piano. And that's because it helped to visualize uh, the music, the improvisational nature of the music from a non-linear perspective. In other words, rather than to play one note at a time, to to be able to see and envision patterns and clusters of chords and shapes.
Now, actually, this is the same advice that Dizzy Gillespie gave to Miles Davis. And consequently, Miles became a very good pianist, just as Dizzy Gillespie was.
And so I would ask a lot of questions, and he kept me after class, and he showed me a very basic pattern that helped to open up the big picture for me of the music and of music theory. So I'm going to share with you that simple little exercise that'll get you started on piano, which is very important if you want to get into composition because you'll need to know something about harmony. So this pattern is based on what we encounter over and over again in jazz songs, and that is a progression that we call 2-5-1. And those are the intervals of a major scale, 2, 5, and 1. So what we're going to do is isolate the 2 and the 5. In the right hand, we'll be playing those 2 intervals, and then we'll be moving them. And we're not dealing with the notes per se, except to know the first notes to start on. We're dealing with positioning and movement. So here we go.
So on the right hand, starting on G and C, gonna move the bottom note down a half step, top note down a half step, bottom note, top note, bottom note, top note, bottom note, top note, bottom and top, bottom note, top note, bottom note, top note, bottom. Got the feel of it? Yes. Top note, bottom note, top. And we're about to return to where we began. Now, the left hand will play A and D. A flat, D flat. So you're going down in half steps in parallel fourths. G flat to B. F to B flat. Down a half step. E to A. And keep in mind that this is 2, 5. At least from the perspective that we're looking from. It's 2 and 5. It could be other intervals as well. But in the context of the chords that we're going to put this with, that's the way we're going to look at it. Okay, now let's put it together. Now, the left hand will play A and D, the right hand, starting on G and C. Hand, bottom note down, top note down. Bottom note down, top note down. Bottom note down, top note down. Bottom note, top note. And if you can just train your left hand to stay in the parallel fourth position each time you move it down, so that you automatically get the feel of that parallel fourth and the juxtaposition of the distance between the notes that comprise the fourth interval. So from A to D is F4, from A flat, and so on. Just putting it all together and adding notes. So there you are. And please explore the harmonic possibilities that are involved here, and try to grasp an understanding of the feeling of the notes under your fingers. There's a thing called tactile memory that you'll start to get a feel for where the notes are, what they feel like, what certain harmonies feel like, and that will start to open up your vocabulary on the piano. So there's also a printed version of those harmonic movements. If you like one, you can request one, and that will be sent to you. So, in all things, have fun. Thanks. See you next time.